Hi, it's Linda with CreativePLR.com, and I've been doing a lot of work in Canva lately, making all kinds of things. And so I have 3 more tips for you today. And so the first one is, and this is like a universal tip, not just a Canva tip. So if you're creating a journal or a planner, whether it's in Canva or a PowerPoint, it's really nice to include some information for your customer about the colors, the fonts that you used, and where you can get those fonts. I've seen a few products that have that, and it's really helped me out. If you provide a PowerPoint to your customer so they can edit the document, and you don't tell them the fonts, and they're not universal fonts or fonts that just come with all computers, then when they open up the PowerPoint, it's going to be really wonky, okay, and it's going to be hard to fix for them. So it's nice to include that. I think some people say read me first or read first, and you tell them what fonts you use and give them a link so that they can go find the fonts, whether it's a font that you found on the internet somewhere, Creative Fabrica, wherever you got it. And so I'm going to just do an Instagram square post today because it fits nice. It fits nice on the screen, and I'll even pull it up just a little bit. It fits nice on the screen without me having to scroll, and you can see what I'm doing. And so the format that I like to use is, and when I do it in Canva, and you could always do this either if you're making a journal or planner in Canva, you could include this as one of the pages, or you could make it, if you're making letter size or A4, you could make it that size and include the information and then just download it as a PNG and add it to your files. And so what I like to do is I like to use these dots, and let's see if I can do it right this time. Usually I get it wrong and I make them too big. And so do you want to do that? One, and the first one, now if I get the first one lined up right, the others should line up right too. But then see, I kind of goofed it up. That's what I've done every single time. And they didn't fit really good, so I'm just going to grab them all, and then I'm just going to adjust the size a little bit. Now, I downloaded a palette from Pinterest, and if you own the palette that I'm using, I apologize. I swear to you, I'm just using the colors because I really love the way that you did it, but I'm not going to use your palette because that would be wrong. And so the palette that I downloaded is this. It's a little bit different. I'm trying to do something outside my comfort zone. So I want to make the colors here match these colors. And so I would do that just by going over here, using my little eyedropper tool, and one at a time coloring in these dots. That's why I like the dots. Eyedropper, do this. Hard for me to walk and chew gum at the same time. You'll notice in a minute what I'm talking about. Okay, there you go. And then my, looks like lime green. Yeah, I shouldn't be clicking that between, but I can't help myself. And I'll try to do this one. I'll do it right, I'll think. Okay, so now I have my palette, and I can get rid of this because it doesn't belong to me. And then you could add other things on here. You could add some text on here and about what my headings are, and the cover font, heading font, other fonts, and then you would give the name and you would give a link to where they are. And that's really nice in case your customer wants to get some, maybe add some more graphics to it, different flowers. So, they're changing and they're editing your product just a little bit so it's not the same as everybody else has, but they want to match the colors so they don't have to start from scratch. So that's really a nice thing that you can do. Okay, so that's tip number 1. That's not necessarily a new tip. That's just a tip I thought I'd throw in. Okay, here's tip number 2. Let's say they buy your journal and it's in this color palette. And they're like, I really wish the backgrounds hadn't been solid. I would like to add a colored paper. And so they don't have a lot of paper. Okay, they could always buy some from me. I'd sell them some. And so they have this paper they love, but it just doesn't go with this palette. So one thing that you could do is, let me attach it as a background. Okay, it'll make more sense. One thing that you could do is you could use Canva's designs, and I'm going to edit the image. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to try to start using these. Let's try to use the photogenic, and you can go through And you can start matching up pretty closely with some of these colors. I mean, there's a really pretty blue. I'm really drawn to blue. I'm looking for the greens or that tan. Okay, didn't see this at all. So photogenic didn't work. Let's try duotone. And I tried duotone earlier, and I got that. And I actually like that. It's not close to this, but look, you can go over here and you can adjust the brightness, and you can adjust the saturation, and you could adjust the contrast. And yes, it still has a little bit of a, we'll try a filter now. Still has a little bit of that. That makes it pretty close, doesn't it? So you could actually match that. I could probably match that green too if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stick with, where was that one I just had? Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So you get a pattern paper, but it's in the color palette that you want. So that's tip number 2. Now, let's say that now you want to create a cover for your journal or planner. And here's your color palette. And you're like, I want something on the back that pops, but I'm just out of ideas. I don't want to use this on the cover, okay? I want something that pops. And I know Canva has a lot of stuff. Or maybe you want to make a social media post or a Facebook post or a Pinterest post in this colors, but you know, you want to try to match it closely. So one thing that you can do is, let me get out of this. One thing you can do is you go back to your dot, and I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to use this. I'm going to make sure that I get this color. And down here is my hex code. Okay. And when I'm doing my palette board, I probably would use the copy of the hex codes on there as well. And so I'm going to copy it. And so then I'm going to go to elements, and I'm going to say, I'm looking for some graphics. Maybe I want some graphics that matches that green. And so I'm going to click on graphics. And now I'm going to use these 3 lines here. Sometimes we call it the hamburger, and they've got like a bubble on them. So maybe we're talking about a hamburger under C. And I'm going to use this plus sign. And now I'm going to paste that hex code that I just copied. I'm going to paste it and I'm going to apply. And look what happens. Suddenly, I've got graphics in that color. Now, do I have a lot? No, it's kind of an odd color. But I probably have enough to get by. And if I wanted a photo for a background, wow, wouldn't that be pretty? Okay, that goes with that. And I could do the same thing. Let's see. Oh, this one, I like this one. That one looks great. And so you could have, that'd be a great cover too. You could put your information in the middle. Okay, so you could actually color coordinate everything by using the design tools in Canva. So that's 3 tips today. 1 on creating this palette for your customers, coloring your paper that you already have so that it matches, it goes with the palette, and then using the photos or graphics. Let's see, let's throw in a graphic. Using the photos or the graphics in Canva to go with your palette as well. Okay, I hope that you get into Canva and you start experimenting with some of these tools and having as much fun as I am. Until next time.